Hello everyone, this is Bibi here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to put together the pop-up snowflake designed by me in collaboration with Spellbinders. This is part of Bibi's snowflake collection, and I shared a preview of the collection in a previous video. So here is the die set. It includes 8 cutting dies, and you will be able to identify each die and what they do as I go. So the first thing I'm going to do is to die cut all the pieces I need to create a pop-up. These dies are high quality, they cut the paper like butter, and they can be used with any die cutting machine. You will see me cutting different paper qualities to create different parts of the pop-up. And please use maximum 250 grams cardstock. Anything thicker will create a very bulky pop-up. For the mechanism of the pop-up, that is this one here, I want you to use 250 grams smooth cardstock. You also will notice that the die embossed the letter A and B on the paper, and you will know why it does that later on. So here are the 6 pieces we need for this pop-up. We are going to grab this one here and fold it along the pierce line created by the die. Now we are going to interlock these 2 pieces. Find the little tab of each piece and slide it into the other piece slit like so. Now we need to adhere the little tabs at the back of this piece. To do that, you need to fold the paper like so and apply liquid adhesive over the tabs. Make sure everything is aligned and fold the tabs in the direction of the snowflake branches. Just like that. And I'm going to use tweezers to hold the tabs because I'm using glitter paper that takes longer to adhere. Now we are going to grab this little piece here. The die creates a scoring line in the center of that piece, and we need to fold the paper over that scoring line. This piece has 2 flaps that we need to fold upwards. Now we are going to add glue only on that square area of that piece, and we are going to adhere the banner over. So this banner is glue over the half of that piece. Next, we are going to grab the smaller snowflake. We are going to make sure that everything is adhered in place, and we are going to fold the flaps of this piece also created by the die. And then we are going to attach this snowflake to the larger one by sliding those tabs into that larger snowflake slits, like that. You need to make sure that the scoring line of the tab is aligned with the slit, and then you have to adhere those flaps in the direction of the snowflake branches. Now we need to adhere the third part of this snowflake, that is the banner or the sentiment. So we are going to grab that piece, we need to kind of squeeze it together, and then we are going to insert those little tabs into the smaller snowflake slits. I like to insert one first, then fold this little flap upwards and pull the paper so it can slide in place. There are 2 flaps there, and this is a personal choice. I like to adhere one facing the branches of the snowflake and the other one in the other direction. You can completely glue one on top of the other and fold them facing the snowflake's branches. The key to get a better pop-up movement is to adhere the flaps of all the pieces facing towards the branches of the snowflake and not the fold. I'm doing an exception there because I have 2 flaps. I don't want any bulk, and this is just an idea. As long as you glue the tabs facing the branches of your snowflake, everything is going to be good, and you will get the most gorgeous 3-dimensional snowflake that you can use in many projects. But today we are going to make a pop-up, and to do that we are going to need a pop-up mechanism. So we are going to grab this die here that will cut the slits for the mechanism into the card base, and it has the letter A and B embossed at the sides and also a scoring line in the center. That scoring line there is not going to cut the paper. It's only a guide to be aligned with the scoring line of your card base. You can make the card base in different sizes. This one here measures 4 inches and a quarter by 5 inches and a half. This is the standard postcard size and is the smaller size that will fit comfortable the pop-up snowflake inside. And to die cut the paper, I'm going to replace one of the cutting plates with this craft mat. And I'm only doing this to avoid transferring marks from the cutting plates to the front and backing panels of that card base, just in case I want to make a one-layer card. That craft mat also helped me to emboss those letters A and B on the paper, so I can see them a little bit better. So that's my card base. I fold it in half and I'm going to put it aside. Now this is the mechanism piece, and you will notice that has the letter A and B embossed on the tabs, and you will also have some scoring lines that are guides to fold the paper. With the front side of the die cut facing up, we are going to fold this piece in half. Then we are going to fold down the paper over the next scoring lines. With the piece in this position, we are going to fold the paper upwards along the diagonal scoring lines created by the die. Once you have done the foldings, our pop-up mechanism will look like a little table, and all we have to do is to insert the tabs of the mechanism into the card base. Remember the embossed A and B letters in the card base. Those are also embossed in the mechanism tabs. All you have to do is to make sure to insert the tab B in the slit B and the tab A in the slit A. Hold the tabs at the back with your hand and fold them away from the fold. Keep holding the tabs with your fingers just at the back while you slide the other tabs of the mechanism in place. Then I'm going to hold the mechanism in place with my fingertips while with the other hand I close the card base. This will allow me to glue the mechanism tabs in the right place. So I'm going to fold the tabs away from the fold and I'm going to use liquid glue to guarantee a strong bond. You have to be patient and just wait for the glue to dry to then open the card base and see how the mechanism is performing. And I intended this to be just a tutorial on how to assemble the pop-up. That's why I'm having everything white with no color. But I changed my mind, as I always do, and I decided to add a little bit of color. And I'm using Sash. This is an ink by Simon Says stamp, and I'm just adding a little bit of that ink at the bottom of that panel. You can do this after gluing your mechanism, as I did, but it's very important to do it with a piece of cardstock or paper underneath so that we are not going to get ink in the other side of the card base. I'm also going to splatter a little bit of water and silver watercolor paint over that panel using a water brush just to add a texture, and please notice that I'm using very little water. We are going to allow this to dry, and as you see there, we are going to achieve some beautiful sparkling splatters. And before gluing the snowflake inside the card base, I want you to cover the mechanism flaps at the back of the card base using a narrow piece of cardstock or a whole panel. In this case, I'm going to completely cover the back of that card base, and I'm going to apply glue all over the edges of that backing panel and also over this piece here. We need to make sure that this piece is perfectly adhered there to cover the mechanism tabs that of course are not nice. So pay attention what I'm doing there. I'm squeezing the paper with my fingertips, making sure that those papers are perfectly glued together. The next thing we are going to do is to adhere the front panel. We can cover the mechanism tabs also using die cuts, and we can decorate the front panel directly using die cuts. We can also add a banner to cover that area and a die cut over. So it's ideal to add the front and backing panels before adhering anything inside the card. But today I'm going to skip that step and I'm going to apply glue on the top area of the mechanism as I'm showing there. Now I'm going to grab the snowflake, I'm going to fold it in half like so. Then I'm going to align the snowflake sidefold with the scoring line in the center of the mechanism. And then I'm going to close the card base and I'm going to press down gentle to adhere the snowflake in the right spot. And that's it. That's how you put together the pop-up. And you might need to do this once to fully understand how to put this pop-up together, and then you will be able to mass produce this. This is easier to make than to explain. And I'm going to show you how to decorate this. So when I was creating this card, I wasn't crafting in a logical order. I was kind of experimenting and checking out what I could do in terms of design. I already mentioned that it's important to adhere the front panel before gluing the snowflake inside, but I did it after. And you can do that, but it's not ideal because in the area of the flaps, you have some bulk there, and now you have also the bulk of the snowflake, and that will create a crease, and you will be able to see that crease in the front panel. So I'm holding this down, and I'm going to make sure that you cannot see these panels overlapping in that area there. And yes, I will have a little bulk there, but I'm going to be able to cover that with any topper I add over this. And I love the look and feel of a white panel, but then I decided to ink this a little bit. Again, just to give more sense to the design. And I usually will do this before gluing the panel, but you can do it after. I'm doing everything after. And I'm going to splatter this just to add a texture, and then I can glue the toppers. So I'm going to adhere to this panel 3 snowflakes made using another die set in my collection that is called Delicate Snowflakes. There are 4 different floral snowflake designs that you can layer up in many different ways. And they also include little layered pieces such as flowers and leaves that you can use to decorate the snowflakes or to do something else. I'm going to be sharing about that specific die set in another video. For now, I'm going to finish this card by adding a sentiment. And I'm going to be using stamps and dies from Snowflake Wishes. There are 27 sentiments for different occasions in that set. These are 4 of them. And there is also a banner die that will cut the sentiments. And the coolest thing about this set is that these banners will coordinate with 3 different die-cut words: wishing, sending, and belief. I'm going to use wishing for this card to make a Christmas card, but you can pair this die-cut with another stamped sentiments such as wishing you a very happy birthday, or wishing you a happy retirement, or wishing you a speedy recovery. So there are different sentiments to use together with the die-cut words, not only for Christmas. And to add a little bit of dimension to that sentiment, I'm also adding a white die cut behind it. You barely can see it, but it does create a shadow and it's really pretty. So by doing that, you are almost done. All I'm going to do next is to add some bling. And to do that, I'm going to use these embellishments and this tool. And of course, I apply Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to stick them in place. So that's it. I glue this as I show you to be able to completely open the card, and you can add additional messages if you want around the pop-up. And I don't want to let you go without showing you more samples of cards and projects made using the pop-up snowflake. One of the key features of any of these samples is the paper. You will notice that I use different paper qualities such as glitter, mirror gloss, and mirror satin cardstock. I also added lots of texture, and I use different mediums to create different effects on the paper. In the previous video, I'm sharing how to do that and how I made these cards using only the pop-up Snowflake die set that can be used also to make card toppers like these ones. These cards also features a die set called Pierce Mini Labels that will cover the slits created by the pop-up dies, so that you can use those die cuts to create toppers for cards or boxes or any other project you might have. Here I have a checker card and gift boxes, and you will see that there is many different ways you can lay down those die cuts to create something more dimensional, or you can just keep it very flat and you can make something bidimensional. And that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel or visit my blog for more ideas and inspiration. Find the links to my blog and to the supply list in the video description and in the first comment. Thank you very much for watching and happy crafting. Bye!